Ow, that was not what I meant to do.
Fuck, that was karma on camera.
And we're back. Are we on? All right. Hey, guys. Welcome back. Absolutely unnecessary. Pandemic 2.0. Lockdown again. How are we doing, guys?
Yeah, worse than last time. Yeah.
Is everybody's excited?
I mean, it was harder that we got to reopen and then close again.
Serious. Started to have classes rolling again.
Yeah.
Training was going. Bars were open for like 3 days? I could
that
go
wasn't good for you, but
I could go get a beer without, like, before they're like, oh, you need to order a Parma. Like,
Hope is
I
a
don't
dangerous
want a fucking
thing.
Parma.
I'd prefer to have no
Yeah,
hope than it to be crushed that.
Just keep us crushed down. Don't give us that glimpse of freedom.
Yeah.
You know, when we start grasping.
There was light at the end of the tunnel and I was already out.
You know,
my mind was already out.
I feel like it's like in all those movies where like you're about to escape and then like the bad guys crushing your fingers one by one, like Scar and Mufasa.
Yeah. Yeah. Feels harder than the first time, I think.
I think it broke a lot. I think it was worse for people's mindset in general.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely feel a lot. People are far more, because now it looks like, well, I don't even believe when we're going to come out of it, we're going to come out of it. So there's like almost like a fair bit of.
I really like what I don't know what the cycle's going to be on this. Is this like the new fucking? Is it going to be every 6 months now? Oz is locked back up. Like,
Well, I think I can't see until it either goes completely right and runs through a place.
yeah, just a complete wildfire.
Yeah,
Burn it all
wildfire. Yeah, but that wildfire obviously means a lot. I know that's what you want.
Yeah,
but that does mean a lot of dead people. I believe.
It does
because a lot of people won't get the care they need.
Yeah, and look, I gotta have a disclaimer here. I realize people are getting sick, and people with people that are close to them have died or had serious issues from this. I'm a selfish prick. I have to be a fighter, so my outlook on things are a bit different than this right now. I say, fucking burn it down. If you're sick and you're scared, stay home. Let the rest of us go back to work. I understand people disagree with me, but
I mean, what's the alternative?
What is the alternative? We stay locked up and scared.
Well, I think obviously the normal probably doesn't come until the vaccine comes, and then we just got to hope that there's not.
And hope there's not COVID-21.
Yeah,
you know,
or swine flu, something.
Or they just found the Black Death in a squirrel in Colorado.
I think that's happening all the time, though.
I think like if you watch that pandemic stuff, all those zoonotic viruses are like
they're always around.
They're always happening, and they're always here, and they're always very frequently get contained, or they jump from animal to human. How these animals are necessarily getting interfered with, I'm not sure, but then the human to human jumps to where it becomes more rare.
Are we looking at any? Do you guys know of any country? I know New Zealand is claiming or saying they're done. They've killed it.
If you have a look, I was actually looking at that.
Or is that bullshit?
No, so on that coronavirus world meter stuff, if you go to like there's green cities where they go, it's gone, they're closed and it's completely gone.
Yeah.
There's quite a number of them, but they're all like Vatican City, San Marino, tiny
little
places,
tiny insulated places where they can handle
obviously it's easier to insulate when you're really small. So there are places like that, and I think there's also some that. I think Myanmar.
I've heard Phuket's fucking had a new case in 30 days.
But they did fucking lock down properly.
And that's the ability of that militarized government state that they can say, no, you're not going anywhere. If you do.
The difference, that's the problem I think here, is that you have to govern with the view to get re-elected rather than do what you think is the best
Same as back home.
You can do stuff, but if it's
if it's unpopular, people aren't going to bring you back in. Or I guess with your guys' system, they can just vote you out in the middle of it too, can't they? They can cut your legs out.
It's more likely that your party is going to feel as though you, at the head of the party, is going to cause issues for them being re-elected, so they'll have like a leadership coup to maintain the party power rather than the individual leader power.
You know, it makes you like, this is going to be so unpopular to say. It makes you, fuck. I'm going to say it makes you understand though how like dictators and things rise to power. It really does, because if somebody came in and they completely consolidate the power, but they would say they were to fucking lock it down, it'd be unpopular. But if that dictator was like, look, we got rid of this shit and it was all these people's faults that this happened, then all of a sudden you've got a scapegoat and the society's fucking clear of the things, but you're stuck with fucking Adolf.
Yeah, I think you when you talk about their rising to power, I don't think it's normally through good disease management, or through killing a lot of people they oppose them. Is generally how it's
potato, tomato.
But I know. And a lot of those countries have actually got like a really good, because Thailand was like, I know in Phuket, you couldn't go between like Rawai and Shillong or whatever, and they completely locked it down. And they locked in like Patong had cases, so then they went, no one can leave Patong.
Yeah, you're stuck.
You can't even drive to the airport. Like, I think you had to get an escort.
They
out.
I think, and even on top of the because they locked down the suburbs for like a month there. But I think even inside of that, they had a 14-day lockdown where you were not to leave your house. Like
I think there was a small. Yeah, the part I didn't get is there's actually like a food shopping window for like an hour a day, which meant there's really busy shops.
Everybody's at Tesco for 35 minutes.
Yeah. But there was like 6 p.m. curfew on the street.
You're off the street. They'll just take you. Do not pass go. Go directly to jail.
Yeah. So
man, it sucks because I will say this: my Muay Thai classes at 6:45 in the morning. We're fucking pumping and jumping, and people were stoked to be back. Like they were. It was crazy because like there was still no social. It was all socially distanced out. So everybody, it was basically bag work and shadow boxing.
Yeah.
But people were fucking pumped.
Yeah.
And it goes to the whole idea that like this whole thing is such a motherfucker on people's mental state.
Yeah.
If you're sitting in your house and you got no outlook on anything, you got no outlet. Like you can't do shit.
I will say when you're talking about death rates and all that sort of stuff. It would be, I would say that the suicide rate in under 50s. The only thing is you're comparing, like, with restrictions and full lockdown, then the rate really goes up. So you're comparing, like, only 100 deaths to what would have maybe been 10,000 deaths if you let it ride. But, yeah, it definitely there will have broad. Lockdown has not only economic effects, but
long-reaching on that stuff.
Yeah, like mental and physical. I think obviously a lot of people.
Everybody's gonna get diabetes, man. Uber Eats is not good for you.
Yeah, depends on what you.
It's not good for
There was a lot of people in panic when there's the whole, I think it was all fucking a myth, but stage 4 lockdown coming, and that means no Uber Eats. There's a lot of panicked people.
So, hypothetically, if stage 4 is to come, because I've heard through the grapevine, it's happening. They put it out in the zeitgeist that it's coming.
I think it's bullshit.
But what does that mean? Would there still be food deliveries and all that kind of shit? Or if you can't
we won't know what they
No, they wouldn't know. They wouldn't either.
And this is the other thing. Is they go, but in New Zealand it was stage 4 or whatever.
New Zealand's got 4 people in it.
Yeah, I know. And they're going, there's no Uber Eats. Like Nick was like, I think Nick was like, there's no Uber Eats anyway. So, I think there's only like 3 restaurants. Yeah, we're getting a finger from George.
No, George, like how many people live in New Zealand? It's literally 37, right? And y'all all are related. 4 million. That is
He's counting sheep. Only sheep that are married to people.
Fuck you, go back to America.
Yeah.
Oh, Herbie.
Yeah.
What are we doing, bro?
We're doing stuff online, I
guess.
Stuff
online.
We're really excited. It's not depressing at all. It's great. Just the same as real training.
Yeah. So look, the idea here is
you get virtual muscles, you get virtual skills.
Look, well, the world, because we're living in a goddamn simulation anyway, it doesn't really matter.
It's the Matrix.
We're living in the Matrix anyway, so we're taking it at the next level. But look, the idea is we fucking love everybody around the goddamn gym. You know, even the people that I hate, I love. We got to keep everybody involved, man.
You don't have an outlet for your hate anymore.
I have no outlet for my hatred, and it's going to.
If you don't have anyone around you to hate, you're going to end up hating yourself, and that's bad.
Well, let me let down a little secret. We're already there. But so Herbie's put together he's basically an app creator now because the gym game's done. So he's basically making apps.
Yeah. So we've got Absolute MMA online that we're kind of developing a lot, and we're making it an online competition where it can track your training. You know, we've got the streaming classes running. We're going to put up some challenges. We'll have courses and stuff up there. We'll make it like a regular online training platform, but for mixed martial arts and the kind of stuff that we do, strength and conditioning stuff, as well as some competition elements and, interactivity stuff. So the idea being that we can still have a bit of a community going, a bit of competition going, and make it a bit more interesting, I guess. It's only, as far as we're aware, it's only going to be for 6 weeks at this point. We'll see about that. But it'll kind of give us the ability to focus on training and having a bit of fun rather than just feeling stuck in a shit situation. We might as well do something fun within it, I guess.
So I'm going to jump in and try and make it like my understanding of it being far more exciting. Because me and Jake are going to get to do some stupid shit together on camera. What, did something happen?
Oh no, I kicked his mic.
Oh, okay, cool.
Wagging in his face.
So obviously we've still got all the content with genuine classes and all the fitness stuff. Look, all the home workout stuff should be good. We've got stuff that you can do classes if you've got a bag or not got a bag, and we're going to have a deal going out for people to have their own freestanding bags so they can do, good sort of MMA or bag fitness workouts at home. not only we have the online classes, and we're streaming them live from Thailand with a Tit and Lam Tongho too. I think there's about 1,000 fights experience between those two, running 2 online Muay Thai classes a day, which is a day. And all the fitness stuff I think that's just come out now looks a lot better than what it was before. It's all been properly filmed and rebranded, and it looks good. Proper time.
I mean, what we've tried to put together is a bit of a motivation system for people. So I believe it could be hard to get the motivation for training in the way it was in the past, and this is just a way of motivating everybody.
I'm going to be honest with that one. It's fucking after a week and a half, nobody wants to fucking take a Zoom class anymore. Yeah. And I completely understand it. You couldn't pay me to do it in the first place. And people being locked up in their houses and having to deal with all this shit. I realize that this shit sucks. But I think the new direction we're going with this is it's going to be a lot more.
So we're starting, I think, with individual challenges. So you'll challenge, you get points for doing a class, points for doing stuff. So there's a leaderboard. And then we'll have different challenges you'll put up. Like it might be, how many push-ups you can do in a minute or chin-ups or whatever, punches on the bag or whatever. But what we're also doing is going to do a bit of a fun side, and there's going to be a lot of points for each week. We're going to have a different challenge based on your social media.
I was thinking of doing a couple different kinds of challenges. One which would be a beat the coach challenge, where a coach would issue a challenge that film himself doing a workout or whatever it might be, and if you can beat their time or score or whatever it may be, then you get points. You get points for participating.
And I want every single person that listens to this to go out of your way to beat Dan Howard in everything that he does, so that I can give him endless shit about his his rails.
I'd just like to set the bar a bit higher for our members. But anyway, Dan definitely knows his stuff. He just can't do it himself. No.
The other kind of challenge we'll do is
he's going to bench press 30 kilos. Who can beat it?
3, 2, 1.
Okay, we had one of our girls from the kids class just beat the strength and conditioning coach Dan Howard.
Love you, Dan.
So we're going to do some absolutely unnecessary challenges too. So you guys will put your heads together and come up with some challenge to issue to the members. And if they post a video or do whatever you say, then they'll get points and a little achievement thing or something. I don't know.
So what we're doing, so we've got the first challenge is, and we'll give you the hashtag and everything that you need to put up. So the first challenge is we've looked at, obviously we don't have access to the gym for a lot of people. So alternate training challenge. And what that's sort of been inspired by, from movies, things like from Rocky, going out and counting logs in the woods and hitting bits of meat. And I think you're talking about Commando and the log challenge or, kickboxer and kicking down bamboo.
I would pay. Look, I'm gonna put this out there. If somebody fucking sneaks into the botanical garden and kicks down a tree, I'm giving you. You're getting so many extra points from me. Because we're actually gonna have a secret draft. Dan hasn't gotten to this yet. We're gonna draft members into our teams. If you sneak into the botanical gardens or do anything illegal for that matter, I will draft you. Yeah. Welcome to the team. Dry July is over.
Yeah, and when you. Yeah,
$20 cash prize.
And when you get access in your jail time to on internet once a week for that hour, you'll be able to upload your video.
My team's gonna have great Wi-Fi though.
So that'll be the first thing. So we'll get some details out on the hashtag you need to put on your video for the alternate training, and Jake and I will put up a video in the next week of what to give you some ideas and inspiration from.
So just so we're clear, the challenge is to post a video of the kind of workouts that you're doing while in isolation or outside of the gym.
It doesn't have to be, it can be serious if you want to go, here's a set of dumbbells I bought on eBay and I'm doing my curls. You can do that if you want. But we're after some weird shit. We're after... I was going to say stuff with animals. I meant like chasing a chicken or whatever, like in Rocky, or stuff.
Here's a great one. Go up behind a cop, grab his gun, and run away.
Yeah. I'm not with Jake and all this stuff where he's going today.
See how far you can get. If you make it over 150 meters.
It's not the state, so actually just won't shot me.
So you're not going to get shot.
This lockdown's hard on everybody. Jake's lost it, but it's all right. Yeah. You guys get the drift.
Nobody loves me anymore. I'm having issues, guys.
Yeah.
If anybody knows how to fix
no. A
hurt soul. If anyone knows how to fix a hurt soul.
Nothing.
Anyway, we're going to delete that.
Anyway, So should we talk some fight stuff? So obviously there's UFC 251 on the weekend.
Fuck.
Volko, I was
Volko retained.
Yeah, very happy to see. Some people, I feel there was some tall poppy syndrome trying to cut down his win. It was obviously an extremely close fight.
I mean, look, man, Max is like I feel like people forget that how good Max is. Like,
yeah.
And Max, the first fight was a very close fight. Of course, the second fight's going to be close.
Yeah.
But
I thought Volko clearly won the first. I don't think there was an argument over the first.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is there's that old, and I don't tend to agree with it, but there's that whole kind of idea that you got to beat the champ. If you're going to go to a decision, you got to clearly beat the champ. You can't have close rounds.
Yeah.
And I feel like Volk did enough to win that fight.
Do you believe that? I don't believe that should be the
I don't think it should be the case at all, but that's what I'm saying. I
think so. If you look at the fight, I think most people go Max won 1 and 2, Volk won 4 and 5, and 3 was extremely close.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the time the judges, if the guys got first rounds and the third round's extremely close, they give it to the other guy to keep rounds 4 and 5 alive almost. You know what I mean? Like they kind of go, I don't know. It shouldn't happen, but and as I say, we are talking a fucking close fight.
It's a frog's pube close.
They never give 10 rounds. No, I think sometimes that should happen more often. If you can't split them and you're like,
if we're talking true scoring, here's the issue.
Yeah.
Max set Alex down twice in those early rounds.
Yeah.
So if we're talking on true scoring, does that then make it a 10-8 round?
Yeah, but he didn't. They were
knockdowns aren't 10-8s in MMA.
But that's the problem. I feel like there's too much gray area in the scoring system. I think scoring round by round, I truly believe that's a detriment. I think the fight should be scored as a whole.
Yeah, so that's a different conversation.
It's different, it's the scoring is fucked and the judging is fucked.
Because people are still going, Max won rounds 1 and 2 more than Alex won 4 and 5.
But that's neither here nor there.
Fucking big deal. That's not how it works.
Who gives a shit?
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. You've only got to win unless you dominate. And they weren't 10-8 rounds. Even those 2 knockdowns were not. The knockdowns were almost half knockdown, knock over.
There were ones. There was one I saw where he clipped him with an uppercut, and Volk literally kneed to the canvas and came right back in punching like he was about to hit a shot. It was almost. Didn't do much, but I can understand where people's mindsets are at. That Max dropped him. That should be a 10-8 round. Like,
they weren't 10-8 rounds. There's no. I don't think people. I think it's just people then. I hate it also when people go, when you look at the significant strikes in the fight as a whole,
that's a made up statistic.
Yeah, and it's also that's not how it works. It doesn't matter. Different. I do like the rise in scoring, but I think that's a better because I think in fairness, if you have a 5-round fight and I fucking smash you for 2 rounds and then there's 2 or 3 close rounds to finish,
those smashing rounds should
they should count. Like I got close to like that. I think that's how it should be, but it's not.
And I'm not saying that. So Simon understands
what
they say in the Japanese. I believe it's Rizin 1FC. They have similar scoring. The fight is scored as a whole, so you can't have these guys that go out and they win a round. They win the first 3 and then they coast those last 2.
Yeah.
If you coast those last 2 and you're getting your ass put on you and there's more damage on those rounds, you're gonna lose.
And gets solely so they go if there is a clear winner on damage. Fight-ending damage, then that's who it goes to. Then it goes to control.
Yeah.
If there's no clear winner in the first category, then it goes to the second. So what that means, if I almost knocked you and then you belly button hump me and hold me down.
Yeah, you John Fish me for the next 3 rounds. But if I dumped your ass in the first one, you hard.
Then I got closer to finishing the fight, so I win. Yeah, even if I actually, for 90 seconds of that fight, almost finished you.
Yeah.
But then you hold me down for
the
13
next 15,
and a half. Then the guy who got the closest actually still gets the fight.
It's just there's no accountability with that way of scoring, though, like scoring the fight as a whole.
No, you're right. There's no way of looking at the judges and seeing what the fuck you're talking. But the problem with it is, Dan.
But I actually think sometimes that fight-ending damage is a less subjective measure.
Even though it's super subjective, like that way is more subjective. There's nobody's being held accountable for their fucking scorecards right now. Anyway, you get these guys in the 10-point must system that the UFC is bringing in, and they're throwing out cards that it just doesn't make sense. There was a ref that scored all 5 rounds for somebody this last weekend. It was like that. There's no way in hell you saw that.
Yeah,
I mean, and they're being flown in by the UFC. Like there needs to be the
10-point must system's the best we've managed to come up with so far, really. But I still think it's not perfect. I don't know why it needs to be 10.
Yeah, why?
Like let's say that you beat the snot out of me, which is fairly likely. if you
I don't know, man.
if it's
That
a
washing
dominating
machine's a motherfucker.
if it's a dominating round, then you should rightly get 10 points, and maybe I get 7 or 8, depending on how bad you whoop me.
Yeah.
But if I edge around over you, where we really don't do that much.
Yeah.
Why should I be awarded 10 points? Because it's not the equivalent of the damage that you put on me, right? So, like,
I don't think
you automatically get 10 points for winning a round,
See,
but I don't know why that needs
that
to
shouldn't
be
be
the
the
case.
baseline. I think you should have to earn points throughout the round.
Yeah.
If I'm doing, there shouldn't be a set base that's like that. It should be you're getting points for if you achieve. It should be achievement based. If I sit you down, that's 3 points.
Yeah.
If I get close on a sub, if I have a close submission, that's 3 points. If I score a takedown, maybe that's a half a point. This is Jake scoring. Yeah. Or it's a point. If
I shoot -2, because that sucks.
If I butt scoot, 0 points. But I'm saying like it should be accumulative, as opposed to setting us a set system. I think
if the judges are more happy to score 10 8s, 10 7s, 10 6s,
how it's meant to be,
then it would be.
Then it's 10 points.
It'd probably work a bit better.
Yeah,
but they're so hesitant to ever score anything.
They're so afraid to throw a 10 8 or God. When's the last time you saw a 10 7? Like,
I can't remember a 10-7, and I mean I've seen people almost die.
Yeah, you could make the argument that before Peter Yan's TKO, like against
we should talk about that in terms of we've talked about judging the refereeing. Mate, that went way too, in my opinion.
I think because I'm mates with Pete, and his manager put up a thing about how many shots he ended up taking before they did it. I think it was like I think it ended up being like 30 something unanswered fucking shots.
Aldo was just waiting for it to stop. Like nothing against Aldo, great fighter, whatever, but. He was just waiting for that fight to be stopped. Yeah. It looked like, when the guy's deliberately hanging out there.
And here's the fuck thing.
Can I say one thing? I remember that Overeem, who was Overeem's last fight? I get Walt Harris.
Walt!
He was waiting for the ref to stop, and the ref just didn't stop.
And he's like, well, this ref's not going to save me. Sorry, Walt.
And then he got up 4-1. So you're like, but that happened. I thought Overeem.
I thought Overeem was out. And
Overeem, I think, was waiting for the stoppage too.
And I feel like, Walt, and you could see it in Walt in that fight. He was looking like, what the fuck do you want me to do?
Yeah.
But I reckon you get it against fights with guys like Aldo, with guys like Overeem. Yeah. These refs, they're more likely to give them every opportunity to get out, to the point of you're giving this fucking dude CTE.
Yeah.
Because Aldo is not going to fucking tap the strikes.
No.
His corner is not going to throw in the towel. Peter Yan could have beat that man to death.
Yeah.
And his his corner wasn't going to stop it. I mean, but here's the thing. But flip side, here's the thing. If you ever threw the fucking towel in on me, I would fire you. I'd be gone. That just is what it is. Like, I mean, I think that's kind of. But I mean, that's.
You guys should have had that talk a long time ago, by the way.
I think, but it is also the coach's responsibility to look after him. If I can't see, if I know
you're
when
not getting out of this,
you're really, really tired.
Jake, you're getting soccer kicked repeatedly.
Yeah.
Don't stop it.
Then I think it's.
Just waiting to hit my stride.
Yeah. I'm playing possum. Yeah. I think there is a time. You hope that the referee does it, and
you want the fucking ref to do their job.
So,
but it's a fine line because I don't know. There's just been some real shit officiating recently, I think, and I think that the refs aren't. There's great refs, and yes, they have the hardest job in there. I really think they do. They have a very hard job. But I think there needs to be some sort of in-services. They need to be more involved in what's going on. Look, Herb Dean's great. Fucking, a couple of the other ones are real. Herzog, great fucking ref.
Yeah.
There's some other guys that are real good. But then you get some of these other fucking shitbirds, and it's like, dude, what do you fucking know?
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Fucking Kim Winslow? That bitch. Don't get me fucking started.
I thought she made a good call with you and Vinny. And a good call with Tough.
They finally figured out doesn't fucking know her ass from a hole in the ground, and they got rid of her. But fucking, I mean, it's unacceptable that occurs at the highest levels of the sport.
I think there's also it's not a job a lot of people are queuing up to do. Not the right people, anyway.
No, you're not getting you're not getting ex-fighters. You're not getting but you should. Like Chris Lieben, the ex-UFC fighter.
Sorry, I'm just gonna imagine
my mate.
He was. I couldn't imagine him being a great.
But here's the thing. He's sober and shit now, man.
Okay.
He's
If I'm in a fight getting my ass whooped and I look up and see Chris Leven's the ref,
get out here, pussy. No, but the thing is, like, I mean, Frank Trigg is another one. He's reffing now, and Frank does a pretty good job for him.
Yeah,
does as good as Frank can do. but you know, like it's important, I think, that we get guys that are. You know, and it doesn't need to be guys with names like that. It doesn't need to be Trigg that fought for the UFC belt. It doesn't need to be Chris, who was, you know, top 10 ranked in the UFC.
Yeah.
Get some of these guys that fucking...
That just even fought like...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Cats that have fought at the local scene, and you know what? They never can break through that fucking ceiling that their ability has on them.
Yeah.
Get into reffing. Get into fucking judging.
Yeah.
Because if you care about the sport and you want to be a part of it, the last thing we need is the sport to be looked on like, oh, well, that's a great fight, but what the fuck are we looking at? And like anytime you get bad decisions and shit like that, all it does is it degrades the sport because people are like, why am I going to watch that shit? That was a fucking fix.
I mean, this has been going on in boxing forever. I mean,
same. But we have fucking boxing judges judging MMA fights.
Yeah.
What the fuck do they know?
I will say, I don't think, I know maybe I'm taking this a little bit personally because we know Volk, but I thought Dana White's comments does not help. Does anyone else think fucking Volko won the fight? Fuck. What the fuck does that do?
It goes to show you that it's the Dana White show. It's not the guy. It's not about the fighters.
The book's a rematch.
Yeah.
What's that?
It makes a rematch.
Yeah, I know, but that's pretty disrespectful to your champ. But that's like, you know, like that's... You can say it was a very tight fight. I thought he maybe got the edge. Whatever. If that's what you think. But to fucking come in there... Because then I think a lot of people pick up on that and then fucking go,
it's the same thing. I mean, if you look at it with Dana and all that, it's... Marlon Morales beat Aldo. But Aldo got that fucking fight.
Yeah, well, because Dana didn't believe that he won. Boom. And Dana came out and said, he should have got the fight. He won.
Yeah, so that's how
and then
that
Dana pretty much goes, well, I think you won, so fuck the judges.
So
you're going to get the title.
At the end of the day,
I mean, it's not despite UFC rankings. It's not a. It ends. No. It's not a sport.
Why are those motherfuckers? Why those numbers exist? Or it's a joke.
It's a guide.
Like fucking, they don't mean shit.
The ranks. Like the voting and stuff they have for the ranks, the UFC actually gives you guidance on how you should be ranking people as well.
Really?
Yeah, they suggest where people should be placed and why and everything.
Break that shit down for me, Dan.
Well, like when they have, I don't know how often they do the rankings, but if you're on the panel, you get an email from the UFC with the suggestions to the changes in rankings. And
what their suggestions are.
Yeah, and the justification as to why it should
be. So those numbers, I thought the UFC actually does it.
Basically.
Yeah, it was leaked. It was on Reddit maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago.
So who does those rankings? I thought the UFC actually does their own rankings.
No, there's a
panel of journalists and stuff. But
it's all MMA junkie.
It kind of really hasn't. Oh, okay. It's kind of like they're in crowd.
They're in-house.
If you toe the company line, you'll get a gig on the ranking panel. But I'm not that up to date with it. But you kind of had to be on the inside. It wasn't as though it was going out to all members of the media or anything like that. So
it's not going across the board. It's going to the guys that they give their scoops to that toe the company line of this is the best fighter and that is how this should have gone. This is the fight that should be made.
I feel like for a while UFC were really trying to do the this is a sport thing for as a serious kind
until Conor McGregor came along.
Yeah,
that's when I reckon it started to change.
Went the WWE method or bot? What do you reckon?
For a while there, it was basically entertainment.
Yeah,
sports entertainment, and there was no WWE. They make the fights they want.
Which is, and you know what?
Rankings, who beat who is really not important.
Can I be 1,000% honest with you? I am fucking okay with that, and I feel like that is truly the best way for the sport. If you want to fucking put on exciting fights and shit, do that. But don't sit here and tell me that these fucking numbers next to your name mean shit. Then, like, if you want to go sports entertainment, do it. Because you know what? I am going to fucking buy a Conor McGregor goddamn pay-per-view way quicker than I'm going to watch Kamaru Usman fight again. Kamaru's a great fighter, but I don't give a flying fuck what that dude does.
There's a line for this stuff too, because boxing is really quite, like a lot of the governing bodies for boxing are quite serious with the rankings. With the rankings and their approach to it being a sport. You know, and they have mandatory title defenses
mandatory rematches.
Yeah, and all these things. But then that also gets quite iffy, and they have control over who's champion.
And with boxing, they'll have the mandatory challengers. You have to fucking fight and that kind of shit.
I'm not necessarily sure that I like that either, because you can't always get the fights that you want. because the rankings don't line up. Well, it makes sense that it's kind of in between.
It's like it's a reason we're not getting Fury and Joshua as soon as we want to get it because it's mandatory rematches.
That's just frustrating.
Joshua has to fight that the Ukrainian cruiserweight that's coming up.
That issue would never happen in MMA.
No, they're like, no, this is the money we're making this fight.
But then also at the same time, we don't have that same legitimacy as a sport in the way that boxing does by having.
I'd also throw
one
other thing there though with the rankings and the contender, the injury rate for people missing fights in MMA as opposed to boxing is vastly different because the wrestling and grappling component. Well, it causes way more injuries. Like,
I agree with that on one thing, but I also agree with. I think the reason we have so many more injuries is our pay structure. We're forced to fight more often. We're forced in general. MMA doesn't have as much money as a whole. So guys that are fighting at a high level are still in there in class, they're sparring with other people sparring around them and shit. You know, it's not. You don't have guys where you're only having people brought in to simulate your opponent. Yeah, that kind of thing. It's not like boxing where guys are taken so well care of, and shit happens, man. Yeah, like I feel like if our sport was to be taken as serious as boxing is, the amount of money was pumped into it, and guys were paid more, I wouldn't be down. Like not saying
that's at the very top end. At the entry level, like the guys coming up before they get big things, the boxers fight a lot more. Yes, like on a local scene, they'll fight
100%,
6 to 10 times a year. Whereas even the local pros,
you're fighting fucking turd buckets.
Yeah, a lot of
let's be real. Like until you're about 15 fights as a boxer, you shouldn't have fought. If you got a good promoter,
you probably probably get a few tests.
I think it's also harder to train.
15, but you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. Whereas in MMA, your fucking first pro fight, you might be getting a goddamn gun. Yeah. For fucking $200. Yeah. You know, it's a very, very different sport in that. And I think people, you talk to a lot of like old heads and stuff, like people maybe our parents' generation, like, oh, you know, they got fucking, your record's not that great. What are you doing? It's like, well, it's not boxing. You know,
it's real.
I fought a killer my second pro fight. You know, whereas in boxing, you know, it's very different, and there's more money being pumped into the system. Yeah. That as MMA, like, the UFC makes a shitload of money. But that's just on brand. Like it's not being disseminated downhill to a lot of guys. It's not being disseminated in the camps and shit. I mean, even at some of the highest tier camps out there, you still see guys that got to fight in 2 weeks out there sparring on an open mat with other dudes falling into each other and shit. Yeah, can you imagine? You've seen boxing camps going on, right? Where nobody is even around the guy who's fighting unless it is under the eye of 4 trainers, and this guy that he's sparring with is working a specific thing that he is paid to be there, and he's gonna get his ass whooped. Yeah, yeah. You know, it's just a very different.
But I think it's also difficult to train people for MMA. Like more difficult to train people
level
for
of
MMA.
Boxing though.
It's not just for belts and shit, though. I mean,
but these are guys getting paid.
Pro boxing gym, you're generally going to get one-on-one attention with trainers, and then you'll generally be sparring solo in a ring when it's your time to spar. Yeah. That doesn't really happen in MMA in the same way. No, but also you need different things in MMA. You can't. It's not just you need to face grappling. You need striking. You kind of right. And what are the chances that you get a sparring partner that's going to replicate every aspect that your opponent's going to bring to the table? Everyone's got completely different strengths and weaknesses across a much larger field.
Which is why the money needs to be there to bring in guys to replicate all things. You need a guy that can kickbox. You need a guy that can grapple. You need a guy that can wrestle, and you got to be able to move that. But you got to have the money to pay all of these dudes to be there at your disposal.
Like you
got to be able to pay the coaches to have eyes on you the whole time.
If you're a pro boxer, you're probably like 3 sparring partners would be about all you'd need to carry you through a camp. If you're a top boxer, that's generally what people would do.
That's what they'll do. They'll fly them in.
2 or 3, but that would be barely enough for MMA in most cases. Yeah. Like
I couldn't get through a camp with just 3 guys.
For 3 guys, you'd feel as though you're kind of missing out on a lot of bodies. You need different looks. You need different styles. You need quite a bit.
I think MMA, man, for like as well as it's doing money wise and everything, we still haven't.
We have teams in MMA too. You don't have teams in boxing.
Doesn't exist.
It's Team Jake, Team Simon. Everyone's their own thing. And the thing with it is like that team mentality. It comes from wrestling, and it comes from that team sport idea of, you know, we're all going to help each other out. We're going to do this shit. Because it's at the end of the day, like it's great to build up. It's great to build guys to a level, but when you get to a certain point. This is a fucking individual sport. And like, you need to be there for this and you need to be there for that. And this has nothing to do with any conversations I've ever been a part of. Yeah. But you need to be there to help your guys. I was like, nah, like I don't. Like, I need to like.
Yeah, but if you can't afford to This is the thing, right? If you can't afford to fly this guy, so if you want to be that guy, that's cool. Yeah. But you got to be afford to pay.
100%.
You want me to come in and get my ass whooped for fucking whatever? You got to pay. Otherwise, pay it forward to the other dude. That's kind of how I see it.
But the problem with it is there's a glass ceiling that you put on yourself by not being able to be that selfish.
Yeah, 100%. But there are also the realities of
how much money can you make in MMA too? Is very different. You're not going to
when you're starting to talk about. You fight 2 or 3 times a year, and let's say 40, 50 G's is a very fucking good payday. That is the 1% or less in MMA. There's not many people making more than 50 a fight. Like, when you look at all MMA, all the local stuff coming up. Sure, the top 10% in the UFC, the top 5% in Bellator, but 50 G's is getting up there, right? Yeah. That fucking doesn't go far flying in and accommodating, and getting something to come to train.
I'm right at the cusp of that number.
Yeah.
And I can't afford to fucking fly.
Yeah.
I can't fly guys in. I can't fly guys in, accommodate them, and do all that shit.
Yeah. It's just
not happening.
It's
not happening.
Yeah.
So until we get to the point of a sport where
you need to basically be on the hundreds of thousands of dollars of paychecks to start to.
And that's net. That's what you're bringing home. That's not after paying trainers and all that shit. But the thing is, like, part of it is we need to be paid more as MMA fighters,
or at least have sponsorship opportunities again. Like, I mean,
man,
Venom's.
This is a whole. I forget. See, we do have shit to talk about today. God damn, Venom.
At least if they took that exclusivity shit away, then fighters. I know fighters were making real money out of sponsorship before.
Guys, I remember when Zuffa bought Strikeforce and the Strikeforce boys came over. I had just gotten out to Austin, Texas. And I was just getting to kick around with Tim Kennedy and those guys. And me and him were chopping it up about it a little bit. And he's like, you wouldn't believe the pay cut I took to go to the UFC, because they wouldn't allow Rockstar and some of these other big money sponsors that these guys had. And then when Reebok clicked over, these guys were going from making $250,000 in sponsor money to $5,000.
Yeah.
That's a fucking joke.
Yeah.
That's an absolute
and the other thing
joke.
is, even this is the part with the Reebok deal, is you would hope, right, that Reebok's, let's say that they even do the deal.
Reebok's a massive company. How are they not paying these dudes?
But also, let them put the fucking another sticker on the shorts. That's not competing.
And why is it okay for like the random dudes to have the Monster fucking logo on there?
Yeah,
That one's all right for some reason.
Yeah, but surely the fighter should be allowed to have some ownership on their shorts.
Or if you're going to go that route, fighters need to be on a salary. There needs to be insurance. There needs to be all this, because if you've got a uniform, a code of conduct, all this other shit, I'm not a fucking independent contractor anymore.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I need to be able to go fight outside of this organization. It needs to be like boxing. I need to be able to go. I need to go fight for other promoters.
I'd be all right if they were to have some rules for it in terms of making sure all your equipment is consistent and legal and stuff like they do in Japan, where you get some people wearing spats, or some people wearing shorts versus like. I mean, there really should be a consistent uniform, but it's like in basketball. Yeah, you can have sponsored shoes and stuff.
Yeah, I can wear whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter, bro.
If it fits within the rules, I don't understand.
Yeah, and even say it can't exceed 50 by 50. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
the logo,
like additional patching on the
even if they have a Venom kit that you have to wear,
it's a Venom base.
Yeah.
Right. But
you can cover one of the sponsors. You can't cover one of the snakeheads or whatever.
One of the 12 snakeheads.
The sponsors that fighters were getting before the UFC Condom Depot. That was one of the big ones.
But then they got rid of ones that didn't make sense. They got rid of ammo to go, so you couldn't have.
Who needs that many condoms that they need to go to
Condom Depot? I went to that website once. There's a lot of condoms.
Yeah.
I've got 6 kids. What's the condom?
They really took an opportunity to fighters make money there, because how else are you supposed to make money?
Well,
you make money via fighting, and you can't even represent a company.
No, you
can't. And the other thing, which I reckon that it also takes away, right? People as a company were willing to invest into people early in their career.
Yep.
to get it back later on. 100%. So I make a deal with you.
Yep.
No, mate in the gym here, he's had 2 fights. Like, you could be a champ.
This guy's going to go somewhere. I'm going to get behind him.
He could go somewhere, but I'll take a bet, and I'll take 5 youngsters. I'll give them 10 grand a year each or whatever. Just enough for them to get through, and hopefully one of them makes them to the big time, and then that'll make my money back.
Then my shit's on pay-per-view. Yeah. This guy's he's gonna shout me out and do all this.
And now what happens? He can't, if he gets to the big show,
it's all Reebok.
It's done. I get nothing.
They can have no representation of it. And it's like, and again, it goes back to that boxing difference where in boxing, they've got backers. And they've got these guys where, because boxers are fighting shitty guys leading up, they're not making money on purses. Yeah. You know, but they've got a backer that pays them fucking, $6-7 grand a month. Yeah. Because look, I'm taking a bet on you. Yeah. And then when you get to that first fucking main event, that, then it's all going to start coming back. Yeah, and we don't have that in MMA. Again,
they don't even do the things where you can drop the banner in the cage. Like,
it's
all
done,
that stuff.
Bro.
Yeah,
it's done, and it's just
it takes away your ability to earn a living wage beyond fighting. Yeah. Like you could be just even if in between fights you could have money coming in from
maybe
sponsors.
During a global pandemic.
Yeah.
Like fucking because that'll never happen.
People don't sponsor. No, no one gets that kind
you don't
of.
You don't got to tell me, man. Yeah. I was a lower grade fighter when sponsors were still a thing, but like even now is like I like to think of myself. I'm pretty decent up there now. There's no money in sponsors anymore. No money. But like there was a time when supplement companies were paying like even me where I was at $5 grand a fight. But now I'm lucky to get some fucking t-shirts and shit. And I used to always say, never take a sponsorship just for product. Never fucking do it just for product. You are worth more than that. Yeah. But these days, fuck, like, shit. Yeah. What are you gonna do?
It's also hard when you're in one market. Fighting in one market, like to be perfectly honest, when you don't live in the market that you fight in.
That's become, Jake specific.
Like in your case.
That's become my issue.
Because even like,
I'm an American living in Australia fighting in Japan. So I accepted the fact when I moved out, that between living here and fighting in Japan, I'm unsponsorable, basically. Yeah. For any major companies.
Yeah. But obviously you learn in Japanese, and hopefully you get something in Japan, and that'll be. But yeah, it's hard. Like reality is you get the guy on the local show in Melbourne probably gets more exposure to somewhere where you can fulfill a product. You know? So
and that's what guys need to realize. I think younger cats, they need to realize, like, don't go after these bigger companies and stuff. Go after your local fucking roofing company, your local plumbers, your local things while you're fighting on this local scene. Get them behind you, because those are the guys where they'll actually get a little bit of return on their investment, and they might stick with you as you go up. Yeah. If you're sending out emails because you want to be sponsored by fucking Ruka and shit, and you're fighting on fucking Hex, like, bro, they don't give a shit. The fuck are they gonna do? What are you gonna do for them? Yeah. But if you go down to fucking John's Bagel Shop down the street and you're in there and that you take care of them, they might fucking sort you out a little bit. Like, gotta support local a little bit. I gotta piss. You guys keep talking.
Oh, fair enough. Oh, it got weird. 3, 2, 1. My elbow hurts.
We're good? Yeah, good. All right, sorry about the piss, guys. So we're gonna refocus back on what we got coming up.
Yeah, so the big things is so the challenge. So get on board. All the details on the website and stuff like that. Remember the video challenge for this week, alternate training.
I will be judging harshly.
And me and Jake.
Fucking harshly.
Me and Jake will start getting out some videos, hopefully, even before next week's podcast.
Yeah, hell yeah. So what are we looking at, Wednesday?
We're going to start going live with the podcast at 8. Exact means to join will be 8 p.m. So we'll take like people's questions live.
Yeah, so we'll have it keyed up live, like Zoom or Instagram live or whatever.
We'll get details out on the website. We'll get those
details out, but make it interactive. So you guys we're going to come up after training. You guys can come up after your long day of doing absolutely dog shit in stage 4 lockdown. And
that's training for pros only, just within state guidelines, just to be clear. But
I'm allowed to.
So we're going to go roll with 8 p.m. on a Wednesday, and we're going to do that. Commit to doing that every week.
So every week we'll check in with you guys. We'll make sure,
and we'll update the challenge leaderboard.
The challenges. We'll show the best challenges of the week.
The videos.
I'm trying to convince these guys we need to have a draft for our characters and our point system. Dan didn't really dive too much into the point system and shit.
I think rather than getting into the details, that people go to the website and check it out. But look, it should hopefully be fun and interactive. You'll get points for doing. We're going to do some social events like the trivia shit online on Zoom. We'll have this podcast interactive every
trivia
week.
Night, outstanding.
Yeah.
Basically, the idea is we haven't forgot about you assholes. We haven't. I've forgotten a lot of things, but not about you guys. And on that note, well, again, absolutely unnecessary. Hey, everybody out there, fucking take care of yourselves, man. We're here for you guys. We love you. We hate you. It's all the same. We'll be back
next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Get on that challenge. Send us your videos. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.